Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. I want to talk about the new energy readings. I do many energy readings per week and have been doing this for many years. And I've also tracked research. And I think it's important for people to understand, what's happening to the energies and of the general public. And this really tells us where everybody's going, what's happening in the world in general. And we certainly, it's not surprising that these kind of readings have went from fairly poor to worse. I mean, we've had 2, 3 years, and it still continues of these quote epidemics that are going on. And of course, this isn't going to get any better as we get stronger and stronger mutations. And we still don't really know what's going on there. Every year, most people would get the flu. And this has not changed. We are told that there is a worse flu now. Now, there's no substantiation of this. There does seem to be even people that are relatively healthy going from bad to worse with all sorts of lung problems that initially kill them. There does seem to be a validity of that. But statistically, what I've been told by doctors is the fact that these things are mostly, and Bill Gates just came out and stated that these things are mostly affecting people in their 80s, and the average death is. We just don't know, and of course we just don't know about anything that these have to do with. But in terms of energies, well, you can't verify anything in life. You've got two groups of psychotic maniacs giving you information, which all proves it. You can't believe alternative people, and you can't believe what the, quote, government tells you. So this is all a factor that we have to take into consideration. What is happening here? Well, as usual, we used to find people crossed or blocked extremely, called a cross condition. And of course, you can go to our actual description of all of these reading information on the channel here. And I will put a link to the playlist underneath this video. So the whole idea is that people are now almost entirely one up from level 2 cross. There's 3 conditions. Everybody's kind of cross, meaning you have negative energy around you, which would be a 1. Almost everybody was up to a 2 a few years ago. Now everybody is up to a 3, meaning you're at a level where this is hurting your life. You have so much negativity around you that it's hurting your manifesting abilities. And it just really depends on several factors how quick and fast this erodes you. It's kind of like an energetic cancer that builds in you. So if you stay in a cross condition, while your life may not be that bad right now, and you may not have physical and spiritual and mental illnesses now, you're a prime candidate for it. It's simple as that. And we're pretty much finding that everybody is at that level. So this has to be cleared out in your life, and this is going to cause you problems either initially or long term. The other thing that I've been checking recently here and finding some disturbing results with that as well is the energy flow to the third eye and the chakras. Now these, per subtle energy physics, is kind of what moves all the energy in you, or at least some of the areas. These have been given credit because there's an awful lot of different energy fields that are working through your body, but you could call these kind of your core ones. Your third eye is important to pick up essential, important data, higher consciousness data, and to move the flow of energy around you, of subtle energy products, particularly using radionics and other things, is affected through the chakras as well. So these are all the things that are very important in your life. And the average person has these energies blocked by 60 to 80%. Of course, this is going to cause cross conditions, or at least make them worse, and this is going to cause your manifesting capacities in your life to be dramatically reduced. Again, it's setting you up for all the other problems coming in life. Now, we also have been checking people for alien implants, which are extremely rare at this point, and past life problems are extremely rare as well. I'm a little bit surprised at both of these figures, but apparently past lives don't hurt most people seriously in this reality. And they really shouldn't. Certainly there is a percentage of people, which don't seem to be coming to me, that have past lives problems and that affect them today. And I come in contact with this maybe 1 every 1,000 people. You can see how rare it is, and I haven't ran into an alien implant in about 5 years. So I don't know if those activities are down as well, or those people are hiding or being told not to contact me so we can disable the alien implant, which we are able to do radionically. So both of those areas are kind of interesting, but don't seem to be affecting people very much. So past lives, which are not really meant to affect you today. It's supposed to teach you then, and you bring that kind of into your modern life. And that's a long subject I won't get into right here, but doesn't seem to be a big factor right now. Manifesting abilities. Now, manifesting abilities are very interesting information because this is how you can manifest in the energy field you're at right now. Now, what's interesting is being cross doesn't initially knock that down to 0, but as being cross is this energetic cancer, it will actually affect you in the future, and that means your manifesting abilities will be reduced down. Now, most people's manifesting abilities are at what we call low normal. On a scale of 1 to 10, most people are at a 4 to 5. Now, this is pretty much 5 being normal, 4 is low normal. So this means that depending on your situation, depending on what's happening in your life, you still have some pretty good blockages. It means that life is starting to become a struggle to manifest with. There's a lot of negativity, and you're starting to get more failures. Yet you're operating at what is considered low normal. 5, of course, is normal, and that means you have normal life problems. Nothing is standing in your way to stop life progression dramatically. You certainly aren't a high manifester. If we want to look at people that are high manifestors, really successful people, they are 7, 8s, and 9s. Okay, this would be people that are the super rich, Bill Gates, etc. I mean, basically they can do no wrong, and they're not going to be hurt by that. So these are the kind of people. So if you're very successful, you're making really good money and everything else, it means that you're one of those rare people that are up in that high level of manifesting abilities. So this is very important in your life, and this, of course, interacts with your chakras, your third eye, and your cross condition. So you need to understand how all of this works together. Some people, of course, getting back to the area of attack, some people are under psychic attack, and they may not be crossed as of yet. Again, this is relatively rare. And, of course, cross conditions, if they continue to go, can turn into actual curses, because you get so much negativity that it starts to go from a blockage into a spiritual cancer-like condition where it starts to reproduce themselves. So this is all something we have to be very cognizant of. Keeping all that in mind is something that we need to work on with all the realities of that. So these are, again, your energetic body is telling you what your future is, how things are going to manifest in your life. So it's a very unique reading. We don't go into what is your finances now, what is the future in terms of some sort of, quote, psychic reading. These are energies. So if your energies are going in one direction, meaning they're negative, then that means you're going to have negative manifestations in the future or serious problems. So we also check your health abilities as well. And again, most people are at that low normal of 4. It means you're not quite sick, but the whole idea is that you are open to the possibilities of things happening to you, because you're not really even at a 5. You're not even at average, which meaning you're doing okay. So we do have to keep that in mind. The other area, of course, is the basically what we call the Winnetka, the evil energies around you. And now this is very interesting. You may have people in your life, you may have products in your life that are in your house or doing activities because you're in an industry that generates a lot of evil presence around you. This could be anything from the medical industry to the many different law enforcements that are out there, or military, all these things. These are negative practices, or you're around these people. You could be a supplier to these people and taking in their energies. So this and there could be just evil energies around you for one reason or another. Are you involved in negative processes? Are you taking drugs that tend to draw evil spirits to you? Are you involved in negative religions and belief systems? Well, that covers the whole planet, doesn't it? So it really just depends on this, of what kind of presence you have around you. A lot of people have different things that they purchase. This could be anything from an orgone machine to cursed items. Oh, I wanted to buy that spirit item, that has a succubus to it, or what they call a sex demon to draw you out, but you're going to get laid. But the point is, the people that make these things are very evil people, and they send that evil to you. Oh, what an exchange. How nice. Pay for evil to be brought in your house. But don't think that getting in contact with people is inert, that nothing happens. You deal with negative people, you deal with their negative tools, you're going to take that negativity in. Now, how it affects you is developed on many levels. Evil presences can increase or create a curse, and can make yourself sick and create highly cross conditions, or make a cross condition much worse. Now, moving on to the other areas, which are spiritual viruses, parasites, etc. Now, this is a serious problem in the human biosystem, and it gets worse and worse. We believe that these have been implanted in people. Everything from this goop they drop in the sky to so many other things that people have gotten injected in them, etc., that there is a parasitical nature to them that has created this. Not to mention the fact that there's lots of parasites all the time anyway. Your food supply is not very good either. All of this becomes a serious problem. Parasites are fairly normal and basically the smartest entity on this planet, and they will get you. So all of those things there, and there are ways to take care of this at a basic level. We're working on advanced practices here, but parasites have been linked just about to everything. You name the illness, you name the mental problem, well, there are heavy parasites. And people that have serious problems, spiritual, physical, etc., we found that there's a high level of parasites in them. Things that carry serious parasites are things like cat poo, and cats are the most popular pets out there. So handling cat poo, having cat boxes in your house, you're getting a certain amount of that in the air. But if you handle them and everything else, you get parasites and they go to your brain. How nice. So we do have to be very careful of these types of parasites that are out there, including all the normals. There are worms, there are other things, and few people understand if worms get in your body, you're not able to kill them. You only can kill their eggs. So you're a perpetual host to a worm that's in your system. Pretty scary, people. Of course, we've been dealing with the viruses and other things as well, and funguses for a long time. Viruses, which basically medical science refuses to come out with any type of treatments for them, are still a serious problem. We talk about all these things as well, but what is a virus? What is a parasite? What is everything else? It just is not the case. So, we need to fully understand that to what's going on. And this includes funguses and everything else. And these are what create planets and everything else out there. Funguses break down rocks. Rocks broken down is what's called soil is. And of course, parasites are everywhere and they're near impossible to get rid of, especially if we have sources like your local pet in your house that carries these. You have to be careful. You have to wash your hands. And if you have a cat, I would recommend you get a parasite test. Most likely, your idiot doctors are not going to be too interested in doing that, and you'll have to pay for it, but it's worth checking into. Now, there are lots of herbal parasitics you can take that are pretty safe. Go slow. know your conditions, check with your doctor if need be, and see if you can get rid of these, at least the intestinal ones. So everything is a start. As I said, we're working on these, and while viruses, again, are something you can treat herbally, making tinctures and other things, and we hope to have formulas coming out with these things and telling you how to make them. Now, a lot of this stuff can be made very inexpensively, and we've already talked about this a wee bit, and you can get that information on All Access, which shows you how to make tinctures, etc. But this is your first line of defense, and they could very possibly save your life, and they're easy to do, and they're low cost. Two things I like: easy and low cost. So the whole idea, if you take capsules, they're very expensive. If you were to see what this was costing per pound, it could be hundreds of dollars with the small amount of herbals you get in a capsule. So making a tincture out of alcohol and the actual ground herbs is dirt cheap and much more powerful. Tinctures are important as well. Capsules, while they are convenient, tend to be difficult to assimilate, so you're almost wasting your money. We need to keep this in mind as a bigger picture, but this is something everybody can do on their own. We hope to provide links to certain parasitic herbal formulas that you can buy in places like Amazon and eBay, which kind of point you in the right direction. We don't make any of these, and we don't really have intentions of doing that in the future. But we don't know. We may expand into certain areas so people get potent stuff that we know is very effective. So these are all the factors, and of course a lot of people are very high in parasites now. We used to pick it up in about 40 to 60% of the people. Now we're picking it up in just about 80 to 90%, if not even more, where people have high degrees of parasites. Now, you may be even taking antiparasiticals, and you got to remember you're still going to come up with a high parasite reading because there's so much in your body. It's something to always watch, and don't think whatever you're taking is necessarily effective. I'm sure it's helping, but is it effective? Is it a tincture? Are you using the right herbs? And what is out there to actually do this? So these are all problems we have to look at, because it's not just the problem and what you think is handling it. Is it working or not? These are really problems, and I go through the same things in my life. Now, ultimately, we are trying to work on handling these energetically through radionics and so forth. This is a massive research project that requires numerous bodies to do the research, and we just don't have the funding to do that. So that's also important why you support us on Patreon and All Access. Any funds that are generated go directly into research, or I should say, not really research, to develop effective technologies to handle all these problems. We know it has to be done, but we need the bodies to do the research. This is a time-consuming situation, and there's no way around this but to get a staff that can take care of all the mundanities that have to be done in any organization, and I can focus myself on development of effective tools. This is all part of the process and what people have to understand. So this is where energy readings have gone. I'm not particularly surprised. We're living in a very stressed out world right now with pending nuclear wars from saddle-rattling Russians and Chinese, who seem to think the way they handle their problems is by taking the emphasis off of day-to-day stress into putting it into potentially nuclear wars. We have nuclear power plants all over the Ukraine that are leaking horrible amounts of toxic energies. Of course, we have the same problem with Japan and everything else going on there, and all the other nuclear power plants that are leaking, which everyone doesn't want to spend the money on to fix. So the whole idea is that it's the amusing part. And of course, our only answer to energy now is to build more nuclear power plants. That's what they tell you. Oliver Stone and all the other boob buckets out there. So we have all sorts of serious problems here. So the fact that people have more negativity around them, that their immune system is stressed, all of this really isn't overly surprising. And of course, the shooting up and the high cost of supplements and other things that we have right now as well. So what do we do about that? Well, Radioactive Tech knows to do about it, and we have any of these problems if Radioactive Tech was properly supported and we had enough people working on these things. And of course, we are still in development with some really awesome tools and other things that are out there, and we're moving as fast as we can with the numerous common business problems we run into, which keep delaying us. But, that's part of life. But the inner organization is moving ahead and moving ahead well, and we are doing fantastic work, and we hope to develop some awesome stuff and release that towards the end of the year as everything is in development. So, this is an interesting but not overly surprising fact. Cross conditions have always been prevalent. Everybody is crossed to some degree. The fact that it's getting to high levels now, and of course, we've recently started checking chakras and third eye. Well, of course, being crossed is going to shut this down. So your entire energetic body is straining right now, and this manifests itself in a bunch of negative ways. And you're going to fight normally with your business skills, with your job, with so many other things that you do in life to survive, and you're going to push those to keep going. But if you're not cleaned out, if you don't remove blockages in your life and bring your energies up, eventually these things will erode down. You'll have less and less of everything. Your energetic bodies will start to disease. This is all part of the process and part of the real world out there. Because a few things manifest overnight and cause you problems. It's generally a long-term situation that needs to be handled in your energetic body, where everything comes from based on subtle energy physics. Remember, everything comes from the energetic and moves into the physical. It's as simple as that. So those people that handle that life in that manner do quite well. So be cognizant of your energy. Invest in tools that'll help keep you uncrossed, open your chakras, and protect you from negative or curse energies. This is your frontline battle, and these small investments that you will use for the rest of your life is your life essence. And if you're not investing in those, if you're not doing that, well, you are going to be caught with everybody else. Remember, your intelligence, your abilities to manifest are hinging on ultimately your energetic fields. And you'll get to a point where those things don't work well, and you will then go into a serious nosedive. So we have to be very careful with all that. Everyone should be aware of these factors and know what's happening in their lives and take care of these issues that you can right away. And parasites are not a joke, and this is nothing overly new. I mean, there's been many past physicians who have talked about the problematic parasites that infect us all. So be aware, be informed, take direct action, and you will be able to survive and prosper while the rest of the world falls and decays. Until next time.